Starting Be'ezras Hashem siman kuf samach vav and Bayol Moshe, Marmashal Shvuas, and we're dealing with the Gemara in Shabbos Daf Kuf Lam Chesim and Beis. The Gemara says that Asiyah Torah shetishtachach miYisrael, and then Reb Shimon bar Yochai comes along and says, no, Chas v'Shalom, Torah won't be forgotten. And then he says, so what does it mean? Yochai to levakish this Dvar Hashem v'lo yimso. What does it mean that they'll search for the words of Hashem and they won't find them? It means that they won't find halacha berura b'makom echad. They won't be able to paskin halacha.
But why is it even the man the hour?
So Reb Shimon brought a pasuk that said ki lo yisi shachach mipi zaroi. So the last couple of siman we were asking the question, how did the Rabbanan escape from that pasuk? The pasuk seems to say clearly the Torah won't be forgotten. Now we're going to talk about some more kashas on the sugya. Basically kashas on Reb Shimon bar Yochai himself and kashas on the Tanakama himself.
Yeah, take a look. Maybe
we have to understand Masha Amr Reb Shimon bar Yochai. What does the pasuk mean that they'll search for the words of Hashem, they'll wander around looking for it and they won't find it? Right? So on that Reb Shimon bar Yochai says it means they won't find halacha berura. So the Rebbe asks like this, Haloi chashav sham bebraisa gimel dvarim. The Braisa before that says that there are three things that we learn from v'lo yimso, they won't find. Number one, they won't find Devar Hashem, they won't find halacha. Number two, they won't find kates. Number three, they won't find nevuah. Take a look. It says, Chashav Sham Braisa Gimel Dvarim Shalamad. Three things are learned. Me Halashon Devar Hashem v'lo yimso. Halacha, v'kates, u'nevuah. So, Im Kain, if that's the case, Efshel L'kaim Mikra Zeh Al Shnei Dvarim. If Reb Shimon bar Yochai holds the Torah won't be forgotten, fine, the Torah won't be forgotten, but the other two things might be forgotten.
There's no nevuah we have.
There's no nevuah, there's no knowledge of when the case is going to be, so maybe that's what it was that was going to get forgotten. So how does Reb Shimon bar Yochai was forcing him to say a new pshat in forgetting halacha? Yeah? Even if you say it's not going on the Torah at all, the Torah will be completely remembered, there's still two things that will be forgotten. Okay, that's kasha number one. Number two, Gam Tzarech Lahavin, we have to understand, Ha'ech Efshel Lilmoid Gimel Dvarim Mikra Echad. How could you learn three things from one pasuk? It just says Dvar Hashem v'lo yimso. So how can the Gemara take out from it? Dvar Hashem zu halacha, Dvar Hashem zu kates, Dvar Hashem zu nevuah. How could you learn three things from one pasuk?
Yeah, normally the Gemara, each word is a different thing. Like V'hai Mozitecha.
Right. There has to be.
There's 6 different siddharim.
Right. Okay. Third question. Gam eino muvan klal masha amru al kasav b'nei yamim ba'im v'gomer v'lo yimsu dvar Hashem ala kates. That how could the Gemara before that, by the Tanakama, when it said the pasuk is going on three things, halacha, nevuah, and kates, how could the kates be one of the things that will be forgotten in the future? Right.
And nevuah, nevuah is already non-existent.
Right. He's going to ask that. He's going to ask that too. Okay. Just wait. You'll see. So the mashroom is there.
We're going by Rav's opinion that we know more Torah and we just be a state of we forgot it. The Jerry might say this.
Okay, so the mashma, it's mashma from the pasuk that and the Gemara is learning that it's going on kates. Mizesha kates haya megula. It's mashma that the kates was originally known. It's just that in the future there's going to be a time when we'll forget when Mashiach is coming. So the kasha is halaya kates haya sasim v'chasim miyazim me'olam. It was never known.
In Yaakov Avinu's time.
Right, it was hidden all along. K'mavur b'Daniel, like it says at the end of Sefer Daniel, chasoim v'chasoim advarim. Seal the things, hide the things. Don't tell anybody what the numbers there mean. V'Yaakov Avinu olav Shalom kishabikish legalos zakates. Yaakov wanted to be megalit, so nistalkim imenu shchina. Hashem stopped giving him the ruach hakodesh, and he stopped telling him when it was going to be, so he wasn't able to say it. So why is it shaykh to say that there will be a time when it will be forgotten? It was never known. It's now, it's all along it wasn't known, and there's going to be a time when it will be known. When it comes that we're zeicha to see B'yis HaMashiach. But in the past, from the creation of the world till today, the time of the B'yis HaMashiach was completely hidden from everyone. Okay? So that's the third kasha. Fourth kasha is Gam Histalkus HaNevuah. This is what you asked before. How can we say that there will be a time when Nevuah will be forgotten? Nevuah was gone a long time ago. Histalkes nevuah kvar hoya b'aschalas b'ayasheni, by the beginning of b'ayasheni. Umach chidshu b'zeh b'brais the lidrei shal zeh mikra the hinei yom boim. What's the Bryce saying? That there'll be days when the nevuah will be forgotten. Okay. Question number 5. Gam einu muvan masha omer Reb Shimon bar Yochai al ador ha'asid shelo yimtzu halacha berura b'loy machlokes. What's this thing that Reb Shimon bar Yochai says? You know what that's going on? Torah will be forgotten just means that there won't be halacha berura.
But they already had it tonight also. They
right. Haloi me'azim mikedem. From thousands of years ago already.
Since after Golos Yavan, there was machlokes.
Hayu harbe machlokes ba'halacha. There are many different disputes about halacha. V'yamru Chazal b'chagiga daf gimel on the base. The Chazal already recognized this in the chagiga, and they say ba'alei asufos, those who gather together to learn Torah. Elu talmidei chachamim sheyoshvim asufos. These are talmidei chachamim who sit in groups. V'oiskim b'Torah. Halalu matamin. Some of them hold that the thing is tameh. V'halalu matarim, and others hold that it's tahar. Halalu oisrim, and it says v'halalu matirim, and so on and so on. So shema yomer adam. Maybe a person will see all these different opinions and he'll get scared off and he'll say, "Hey, chani lamid Torah me'ata. How could I learn Torah? How am I going to know what to follow?" So Talmud Loimar, therefore it says, "Kulam nitnu miraya echad." They were all given from one shepherd. From one Hashem. Kel echad nasnam. One Hashem gave them. Parnas echad amram. One leader said them. Mipi adon kol amaisim baruchu. From the master of everything. So af ata asay aznecha kafar cheses. So make your ear like a funnel. Ukenei lecha leiv, and acquire yourself a heart. Leiv maving, an understanding heart. V'shmoya es divrei metamim v'divrei metarim, and to understand both sides of the machlokes. And that's how you'll understand Torah. Im kain kvar darshu Chazal. Chazal already say mikra from this pasuk af l'doros. They darshan even l'doros harishonim, even in the previous generations. Shahayim machlokes ba'halacha. There was machlokes.
And the first words were actually Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. That's why it's the only one we say Beis. So they were the first to have machlokes.
Goes back before that to the machlokes of Smicha, right? Smicha Yosef ben Yoezer, Yosef ben Yochanan. There was a machlokes about Smicha going all the way down.
But halacha was actually machlokes of the first one Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. The Morales has this.
Anyway,
that's why they're the only Tanakh that
we say Beis. The first major machlokes, yeah. But before that, there were 3 or 4 machlokes between Shammai and Hillel, and Shammai's.
Yeah, but they were the first.
Im kein kvar darshu Chazal mikra af l'doros rishon shalei machlokes ba'halacha. V'im afa pichein im mesim oznoi kafar cheses. And despite the machlokes, it is possible to learn Torah. You make your ear like a funnel. V'shmoy divrei chachamim yesh lo leiv mevin. Then you'll be able to understand it. Umanish tana bozeh dor ha'asid. So why is the future generation any different? Shal yidei hamachlokes lo yimsu dvar halacha. That when they don't know what to paskin, they have different opinions. That's already called lo yimsu dvar halacha. That's already something that was around for years. Okay, and then this, just to make this question stronger, I would classify this as question number 6. It will be Rishalmi Sanhedrin Perek Dal Halacha Beis. Omer Rabbi Yehuda, or maybe Rabbi Yosi, Ilu Haya Nitna. Maybe it's Rabbi Shmuel actually. If the Torah would have been given with clear psak in every situation, without any room for any disputes, then we wouldn't be able to stand. Pirsham b'pnei Moshe. Pnei Moshe explains, She'ilu haya nitna ha-Torah psak halacha b'loy netias das l'kan v'kan. If the Torah was given with exact halachas, without any room for disagreement, the world could not exist. Why? Because we need the Torah to be able to have different possible explanations. Like the Gemara speaks out, the Yerushalmi speaks out in the Hemshech there. It says, "Ve'elu ve'elu divrei Elokim chaim." Both sides are the words of Hashem.
Well, the Torah can't be given its absolute revealed form, or it will be gone then. Because the Torah, is very holy and radiates very strongly.
Why would it be gone then?
Because the Torah will be given, that the world can't handle it.
Oh, okay.
So it might be given in a self-some form that you keep searching and searching.
I don't know if that's the pshat, but okay.
Yeah, the world will not be able to handle or reveal the Torah.
There are other ways. Some people learn the pshat is that because if you give the Torah, if the Hashem would give the Torah in the exact form, then people wouldn't learn it because they'd say, "What do I have to learn it for? It's already written there. I don't have to understand it. I just look it up whenever I have a question." And eventually it will be nishtakach. But now that it needs study, people study it all the time. And they argue about it.
That's why you can't reveal infinite thing in its absolute form.
Anyway, it says afterwards there, Shalom Moshe Rabbeinu Olav Shalom. Hoidieni Echi halacha. And Moshe Rabbeinu heard from Hashem different possibilities how to learn things. Hashem told him pasuk, and then he told him many ways to learn it. And Moshe said, which one is the halacha? So Amar Lo, he said to him, Achrei Rabbim Lahatois. We go after the majority. Everyone in every generation, they'll discuss the question, and whichever one holds the Rabbim, that one is the halacha. Kedei shetehei hatoyer nidreshes memtes panim tameh memtes panim tar. There's always 49 ways to learn one way and 49 the other way. V'omer meishari ma'hevucha. And the Gemara ends off there with the pasuk meishari ma'hevucha, which means that we straighten out miashrin. We make straight the Torah through the klal of Achri Rabbim Lahatos. Pirush Shalom Pnei Moshe. Back on the previous thing about the Moshe Rabbeinu, he says. He wanted to know the halacha. There shouldn't be any doubts about it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said that's impossible. It has to be possible to learn it both ways.
Otherwise,
if I tell you that what the halacha is, and you tell it to the Yidden, then there won't be many different ways to learn it anymore. Yuri and Sham. It's not just an unfortunate thing that there was machlokes, that people forgot the Torah and there was machlokes, but it was planned that way. Hashem Yisborach, when he gave the Torah, he B'davka left things out, and he B'davka told Moshe the different ways to learn things, so that there should be a machlokes. Ba'alach oistrin matir, and there's some who aster, some who matir. She'iyah nidrashin hamem tes panim l'kan v'l'kan. So there are different ways to learn it. We already told it to Moshe. So therefore, we don't understand why is having machlokes considered forgetting the Torah? Now, just to be fair, there is another way of learning up machlokes. I mean, not all machlokes is based on this. You know, there's a Ritva. The Ritva in Erev and Daf Yud Gimel also says like this to Yerushalmi. The Ritva says Hashem showed Moshe Rabbeinu 70 ways to learn everything, and he said let the Gedolei Ador of every generation decide. But on the other hand, everybody can understand that when Moshe Rabbeinu came down from Har Sinai and he said a pasuk, Zachar Yisrael Shabbos L'Kadshoy and Shomer Yisrael Shabbos, it can't be that they didn't know anything about the Lamed Tes Malachos. They have to know what that is. There's certain things that are halacha Moshe Sinai, like the way tefillin are made, the way sukkah is made. A lot of the halachas are halacha Moshe Sinai. So obviously, a lot of things were given to Moshe with the exact psak. It's not like every machlokes is due to this the Yerushalmi over here. A lot of machlokes is due to the fact that Moshe Rabbeinu got the exact psak, but after a number of generations, it was forgotten, and they had to go back and darshan it from the psukim. So there is some shichas Torah. It's true. Machlokes is not only because of this, but on the other hand, you see that there is a certain amount of machlokes that was planned from the beginning. Okay. V'hinei Rashi Zal Pirish Asei Osnecha Kiafar Cheses. Rashi says on that Gemara. The Gemara says, make your ear like a funnel, which means the funnel over the grinder. When you mill wheat, you have a grinder, you have like a funnel on top, and you put the wheat into the funnel.
But a funnel goes in and goes out.
Right, well that's what it does. It goes in the top, you pour a lot of wheat in the top, and it goes down.
But that's going one ear out the other. It's not learning, it's going one ear out the other.
No, but it means it goes into where it's supposed to go. It goes into the grinder.
But they like it, one who listens to a
right,
shear.
it's a mashpech. I don't know why they're the Lashon is mashpech. That means like a funnel that just goes out. And here it's a farcheses, which is a type of funnel that goes into the grinder. So it gets used. Your mind grinds it up and use it. So, since all the Chachamim, this is Rashi saying on this Gemara about that the Chachamim, they're arguing, some Tamim, some Matar. So he says, since all the people who argue are all L'Shem Shemayim, so therefore make Aseh Oznecha Shemas, listen to them, Ulamoy, and learn from them, V'da Divrei Kulan, and know the words of all of them. Ukesheteda Lahavchin, Eze Yichshar, when you know to distinguish and know which one is correct, then kavah halacha k'moisai, then follow him, make the halacha like him. That's Rashi. Ve'eno muvan. And the question is here: the adrava kivan shekulan meroya echad nitnu. Since all the words of the of Chachamim were all given by Hashem. Mipi Adon Kol HaMaisim, from the Master of everything, Baruch Hu. Ha'ech Neda Lahavchi Neza Yichshar Likvay Halacha K'Moisei. They're all equally good. So how can you decide which one's right? The Marsha Kasav. The Marsha says, okay, I have a very simple solution. Just follow the majority. It's a very nice teretz. It's not only majority. There are other rules also. That there are sometimes halachas that you paskin like the yachid.
Like Rebbe Kiva.
Yeah, and like halacha kedibra and mekel ba'avel, and there's halacha karav b'isturim and kishmul b'dinim.
Come hell, no shmur choka, even if one chas show has a deceased, and hear about over 30 ages, it's a same avail. Nope, only one day of shiva, no avail till afterwards.
So there's many rules. So no matter what rule you go with, you're still stuck with the original problem. That ho'ikr chasim in a sefer. That the Gemara doesn't speak out the rule. The Gemara just says, how are you going to learn Torah if you have many different opinions? Yeah. The answer is, everyone was given from one shepherd and one Hashem, so therefore you can just paskin like one of them. What is that supposed to mean? The Gemara should have said that we have a klal of achri ram lahatos, and therefore we paskin like the roiv. Doesn't say that. Ho'ikr chasim in a sefer. The Gemara doesn't say any rules for paskening. How to decide halacha. The Gemara just says the reason that shekulam meroya echad nitnu. They were all given by one master. That makes it worse. That makes it harder to decide. Because you can't decide because they're all equal. They're all coming from a holy place. Since they're all from Hashem, how do we know what to do? So therefore the Gemara is not really answering its question. The question was, a person shouldn't think, because of the machlokes, how could I learn Torah? And that the Gemara answers that they're all given from one Hashem. How does that answer anything? Alright, so just to chazer over, in this siman we had, I think, 7 questions. A lot of questions. Number 1, that the pasuk was Dvar Hashem Zeh halacha, Dvar Hashem Zeh kates, Dvar Hashem Zeh nevuah. So the question was that Reb Shimon bar Yochai, who wanted to say halacha won't be forgotten, he could have still said nevuah and kates will be forgotten. And number 2, how could you learn 3 things from one pasuk? Number 3, that what's the case being forgotten? Adarabah, the case was never known.
And nevuah too was not known.
Nevuah number 4, right, was never known. At that time, right? And number 5, that what's so amazing that they'll forget halacha and they'll have a machlokes in la'asid lavoy. What do you mean? Machlokes was around for hundreds of years. And number 6, machlokes was actually planned from Har Sinai. It wasn't just something that happened in the course of time, but from Har Sinai there was already machlokes. And number 7, in the Gemara, when the Gemara says, how are you going to learn Torah? If there's machlokes, the Gemara answers, they're all given by Hashem. How does that answer the question? Alright? So in the coming simanim we'll answer this.